Buffalo Plus, your interactive look at the week in football, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
This was the scene in New Jersey 1 week ago. Josh Allen hit and hurt. After the game, news that he had suffered an injury to his elbow. The question for the entire week, would Allen be recovered? Would he be able to play this week against the Minnesota Vikings? The answer this morning appears to be yes. Good morning to everybody. I'm Mike Catalana, along with Dan Fetes, Jenna, Cottrell, back in our studios in Rochester. As we get set for Buffalo Plus Live, we welcome all of you watching us on Fox in both Rochester and in Buffalo.
As well as around the world on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe as always.
That's what we always ask, right, Jenna? All right, let's get to it. Sean McDermott, earlier this week, talking about the process. We knew at that time, on Wednesday, that Josh Allen was injured. We didn't know what his status was going to be. It now appears he's going to be active today and likely to start. On Wednesday, Sean McDermott talked about that process of the entire organization being on the same page, getting the quarterback ready.
The communication piece is important, right? With the player to the docs to the player, the docs to us with the player. I mean, no different in this case with Josh than any other injury from the standpoint of just the process. Look at everything, and health and safety and health and well-being of our players is top priority, number one, before they go back out on that field. And that's my responsibility as a coach and our training staff's responsibility.
Yeah, that's certainly a question coming into this. I do not believe, and I don't think you guys do either, that the Bills would be putting him in harm's way based on an injury. But, Jenna, a question a lot of people are asking. There's only two quarterbacks to be active today.
Yeah.
Case Keenum and Josh Allen. The question would be, are we sure Allen would start in this game?
Yeah, that's the question we've seen on Twitter. And if Allen's going to be out there, if he's going to be active, you expect him to be the starter. Now, Case Keenum, we don't expect him to be the one out there to talk about. But look, Keenum has gotten the majority of practice reps this upcoming week. He's a guy that the Bills brought in for this scenario if Josh Allen couldn't play. But again, we expect Allen to be the starter this afternoon in this game. But Keenum, he has that experience. He's been in the league for over a decade. Yep. But this week, we talked about it. Josh Allen was limited in practices on Friday. Guys, from your take and your point of view, just what have you seen and what do you expect to see? Because I think we all were kind of shocked when we saw that the Bills did not activate Matt Barkley from the practice squad.
Sean McDermott talked about having common sense. He said that much like me and Rex Ryan, he's not a doctor, and that we don't try to be. But it's telling the fact of you're not putting him out there unless you are 100% sure that he can't make this injury worse on a simple play. If he's healthy enough to be active, he is healthy enough to start. To me, it doesn't make any opinion. So I think the game plan is normal.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the key was, and we've seen from several reports, that he could grip the football properly and make the throws. So that would be the question coming into this. Now, Jenna, let's go back to the players on the team, because earlier in the week we got a chance to talk to everybody about their thoughts about would it be Josh, would it be Keenum? And there was an interesting little back and forth with a guy who is greatly impacted by the quarterbacks.
I love this. On Wednesday, Stefon Diggs was asked, would you be surprised if Josh Allen was out there on Sunday? Here was Diggs' response.
Yeah. I mean, we know Josh, and we'll see.
I love that. Yeah. The body language, look, we all know what kind of competitor Josh Allen is. We talked about earlier this week, though, it was being up in the air. Will Keenum play? Will Allen play? But I love Stefon Diggs' answer because while what he's saying doesn't match his body language, Dan, you know what he meant.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stefon Diggs, we didn't really talk about it much this week. It's a revenge game for Stefon Diggs, playing the Vikings for the first time since being traded. And when he came to Buffalo, there were question marks around what kind of a guy Diggs would be in the locker room. He's put that to bed. When Stefon Diggs left Minnesota, he read something. that changed his mindset.
I picked up the book, The Alchemist, and it definitely taught me a lot as far as like with timing and things lining up how they're supposed to line up.
Yeah, things have lined up pretty well since arriving in Buffalo. And when asked where he's grown the most, Diggs said off the field rather than on it.
Because of how I prepare and how I look at life, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm extremely blessed. Like I can't live in that space of oh, that was my old team and I got so much to go against them. Nah.
Reading was a big part of that maturity process for Diggs, and it's now allowed him to look back fondly on his time with the Vikings.
I had a great time in Minnesota. I don't have any bad taste in my mouth. It just didn't work out, and that's I mean, everybody here can attest to that's just how life works sometimes. You know, sometimes things happen. Sometimes curveballs are thrown at you and things are switched up.
Yeah, Diggs says he's been trying to read a lot more recently, educate himself, and then he smiled and laughed, saying, I'm old. It is what it is.
Yeah, old is a relative term, I will say that. And by the way, I'm learning from Diggs. I want to read a little bit more. You want to read more?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
Let's get a book club going.
Let's get a book club going with Stefon Diggs to see. Now, look, Jenna, we know they made that trade in order to get Diggs. When they made that move, that has been back from the couple of years ago when he ends up on the Bills. And the Vikings are pretty happy with the guy they got. And that's a guy we're going to see today. Justin Jefferson has become a superstar with the Vikings. And when you think about it, this is one of those trades, Dan, that both teams work out so well. I don't think the Bills would trade Diggs for Jefferson, and I don't think the Vikings would trade Jefferson for Diggs.
Sometimes it's tough to follow trades about who got what for what picks, and picks move around. This is a straight up, this pick that the Bills traded to Minnesota ended up being Justin Jefferson, and they have both been top 5 wide receivers in the league since arriving.
Yeah, he has been a superstar. He has really helped Kirk Cousins. In a little while, we're going to talk more about that. But that brings me to a question, Jenna, for you on a guy who could be back on the field. Now, we're going to know the inactive list coming up at 11:30. But I want to know what you think about the chance that Tredavius White, who has not played since last Thanksgiving, gets on the field and plays this week.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's something that we actually disagree with between the Buffalo Plus channel, but Trey White, is he set for his debut this afternoon after being out after that ACL injury? Mike, we were in New Jersey last week. We saw Trey White pregame against the Jets go against a pretty solid pregame routine. Looked like he was out there, full movement, full range of motion, all of these things. We know he's been back to practice the last couple of weeks. He's been a full participant. I think that we're getting closer to seeing Trey White on the field. Now, the Bills did activate Xavier Rhodes from the practice squad, a corner. So that to me says maybe that means Kaiir Elam won't play like we've talked about going down the line. But also, does that mean that Trey is out there? I think it's the right time to start thinking about it. You're at home these next couple of weeks. Does the weather play a factor? We'll get into that. But I think we do see Trey White today. My opinion.
Yeah, I think the part we disagree a little bit on is, it's my opinion, and it's not Jenna's, and I'm not even sure about Dan. I think Trey's been the hesitant one. I don't know if he's ready to step back on the field. I think you guys disagree with me. You think it's the team holding him back.
I think the team has been holding him back, trying to be smart about, hey, it's a long season. You know, bigger games are going to be in December. I also think last week, I think he was more ready to go last week. MetLife turf is a joke.
Yes.
I think that played a factor. They may not admit it, but that turf has taken a lot of ACLs, and I don't think they wanted Trey's first game back out on it.
Well, I think Jenna said it, though. Physically, he looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a matter of bringing him back. It's a little rainy, a little slick out there. I don't know if that would play a factor, because that's the kind of turf he's going to play on a lot the rest of the season when he does play. But it'll be interesting to see. Again, that's coming up at 11:30 when the inactives, and follow us all on social media, on the Twitter feeds, and that's when we'll be able to tell you who is playing. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've mentioned a little bit about this Vikings team. How do they stack up against the Bills? Kirk Cousins has been a wild man off the field this year. We'll talk about that, and the brothers going head-to-head in this game when we come back on Buffalo Plus Live. I think we're okay.
Hello,
with the 1 mic.
everyone. Welcome.
We're up, yeah.
Yep, we are.
So, yeah. So thanks to everybody on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Dan having his coffee. It's windy. It's cool.
Breezy.
Breezy?
Right? Not windy, not full on. Yeah, breezy.
Breezy.
Like not gusty, but not fully windy.
Yeah.
We're getting the full spectrum of wind.
Breezy.
Well, I tweeted out that the snow that was falling was the boneless wings version of snow.
That's good.
I did not see that.
It's like, you know, it's really nothing that bad. And
Yeah.
I mean, it is November,
Yeah.
but our weather here, the home games, has been fantastic.
It was 70 degrees the last time we were here. It was
Yeah.
120 in Miami. Nothing goes down here. Look at the cat-like reflexes.
Wow.
Mike Catalana.
Yeah,
Mike
I
Catalana.
think these should be. Go ahead.
Grabbing the light.
Go back to the-
I could see that earlier.
Mike just saved a light, everybody.
I was say, wait, Dan, did you almost have to save a
I
light?
flinched earlier.
I saw you do it. I knew that's what you were doing.
Yeah.
Do they take those 3-second breaks
Yeah.
just to sip coffee? No, this show is on TV, so we have to take our scheduled breaks for commercials, all that. But you get
Yes.
to see the behind the scenes.
That's what pays. Yes.
I just spilled the coffee.
Those breaks are what pays Jenna's salary.
And those longer breaks are what pays Mike's.
How you doing there, Dan?
I spilled
Is
coffee.
where-
Trying to get the light.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
we've had some lighting issues.
Back in 10.
Okay. Welcome back. Live in Orchard Park for Buffalo Plus Live. Mike Catalana, Dan Fetes, along with Jenna Cottrell. It's the Bills and the Vikings and Josh Allen. Now, this is video of Josh practicing, not this week. He did not appear in front of the media at any point this week that we could see him practice, but he did practice on a limited basis on Friday. The Bills, according to multiple reports, felt very confident. We know they did not activate Matt Barkley. So Josh Allen is going to be dressed. He's going to be out there. We fully expect him to be starting in this game, and that was not the case most of the week. So Josh will be starting for the Bills and Kirk Cousins for the Vikings. Tell us a little about what Kirk's been going through this
I think
year.
they're the two coolest quarterbacks in the league. I think there's no question that Josh Allen and Kirk Cousins, we have the video of him on the plane ride back from their last game's win against the Commanders, wearing his teammates' chains, dancing, got glasses on. It was the perfect Kirk Cousins. Now, his play on the field actually is not where it has been the last 3 years, but there's this sense of a vibe going around with this team, with new coach Kevin O'Connell, that there's a belonging and a sense of belief in Kirk Cousins. Mike Zimmer, the Vikings' former coach, never wanted to pay Kirk Cousins all the money he was earned. Winning helps that, but it's Kirk Cousins.
It's kind of absurd to be talking about him as a football player. Looking at that video, Jenna, he's having a ball, and his team is winning. Now, they can debate how good they are, but they're 7-1, and a big reason they're good is their running back, Dalvin Cook. And
Yes.
Bills fans, no running backs named Cook.
Oh, yeah, exactly that. This game is going to be interesting for one of the facts that Dalvin Cook will be facing off with his younger brother, James Cook. Now, you know James Cook. The Bills drafted him this past spring. Dalvin Cook, though, his older brother by 4 years. They have never gone against each other before, but today's game, a chance for the two to match up on the field. Here's what big brother Dalvin had to say about meeting James this afternoon.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun. First time I ever get to play against him. Just funny how things work out. We both, made it to the stage in our career that, we aimed for when we was younger. So just got to take advantage of it. It's a fun time for my family, but, something that I'm going to remember forever, both of us. So just taking it all in and, a lot of emotion Sunday.
Any trash talk between you two?
Every day. Every day. Every day.
I love the smack talk. They wouldn't be brothers if that wasn't the case, of course. But we talk about what Dalvin Cook can do. He's been a mentor to his brother, but also his play on the field, guys. I mean, he is a real threat for this Bills defense to have to look out for.
Yeah, Dan, coming into this game, the Bills' run defense has been an issue, and Dalvin Cook well, certainly he can catch the ball out of the backfield too, but he can really hurt you on the ground.
The Bills had the best rushing defense in the league through the first 6 games of the season. They have had one of the worst the previous 2. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you got to figure out which one you are.
Yeah, they need to work on it. Von Miller was asked about it. He said at the end of the game last week, they know, they're aware of it. He said, I got to do my part. That's all true. They all have to step up. Von talked about what they need to do a better job stopping the run.
This week they run the ball a little bit different than those last 2 teams that we played. And, in this league, you just got to line up and take it week by week. Every team is different, and every team has stars. The Minnesota Vikings, they definitely run the ball well, so we have another challenge on our hand. And, I'm excited. You got to put the fire out. Once in the National Football League, teams are going to do stuff until you stop it. And, I'm excited for the challenge, and I'm excited to be able to, play this team and, get another shot at, stopping the run this week.
Yeah, I mean, Von said it best there. If you can't stop it, they're going to keep doing it, and that's what's been happening.
And Von's always excited. So I caught up this week with Matthew Caller. He does sports radio out in Minnesota for the Purple Insider. And while this Vikings team is 7-1, well, not all 7-1 records are created equally.
They have won all of their games except for opening week by 1 score. And they have had numerous teams just give the game away. It has taken 4 Kirk Cousins comebacks in the fourth quarter to be 7-1. So they understand that there's been a lot of shortcomings in a lot of games against bad teams that they could have lost. And yet you look at the standings and they are absolutely running away with the division. So you don't have to apologize for close wins.
Yeah, you never have to apologize for close wins, but obviously their caller admitting they've lived a charmed life.
They have, and they've played against those backup quarterbacks. But if you're the Minnesota Vikings and Josh Allen is starting, this is your moment to get a win against one of the top teams in the league, against their starting quarterback. And I think that's why I think the Vikings obviously have a reason to be fired up to play this game. And the Bills know they're always going to get everybody's best. We're closing in on the time when the inactives are out. So when we come back, we'll talk about the Bills' injury list and who we might see, a key player who could be back on the field coming up today when we return on Buffalo Plus Live.
Hello, hello. We got some good comments,
Hey, welcome
guys.
everybody back.
Yeah, I think Hines.
What do you got, Jenna? Go ahead.
Matthew Smith saying, I think Hines is going to have a big game. Wake asking, have they talked about Allen and his playability today? Yes, we have. But, Mike, do you want to handle that and what we can expect from Allen?
Yeah, I think if he's playing Josh Allen football. I mean, sometimes you think with Josh, oh, he's going to do less of this and or that. I think if Josh Allen's playing, it's get him on the field and let him play.
Yeah, he's a bull in a china shop, but I don't think you can ever really tame that and be like, hey, Josh, be a game manager today and rest your elbow. That's just how it works. Yeah. 2 plays after he injured his elbow, he threw it 80 yards. So, I don't think that there's ever a time where you're going to say, hey, Josh, you can't treat Josh with kid gloves. If you're going to play Josh, you're going to get all of Josh.
Yeah, Jenna, we've seen it too when they're up by 3 touchdowns and he's still running the football.
Yeah.
So I don't think anything changes with him.
It's a little alarming when you do see that. But no, I mean, we know that Sean McDermott is a very conscientious guy and he's going to follow what the doctors are saying. He said they're taking the common sense approach. But I guess that means that he's playing today. And that goes to show, in my eyes, how healthy and how able Allen is to be out there. Because they're not going to take a risk with their superstar quarterback.
Yeah, but sometimes I think common sense is, oh, we have Josh Allen, we're going to play him.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he's going to play. Jenna, a little inside baseball here just to make sure. We're going to start, and then you're doing the injury list, correct?
Yep. And then I'm doing weather, right?
Okay. Yeah, you can do weather.
No,
you're doing Greg. You're doing the Connors interview.
Okay, so you're going to do weather.
I'm doing the weather.
Okay.
Yes. Welcome back to Buffalo Plus Live. Again, the scene in New Jersey when Josh Allen was injured. Well, guess what? A week later, we're going to see him out on this field behind me. Josh Allen will be active today and is expected to start against the Minnesota Vikings. Hey, everybody, if you're just joining us, I'm Mike Catalana, along with Dan Fetes and Jenna Cottrell. Bills getting set to play against the Vikings. And this year, Jenna, more than any other year since Sean McDermott has been the coach, the inactive list 90 minutes before the game has been a huge thing because they've had so many injuries to deal with. So give us the latest update as we head into the inactive list at 11:30.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Bills injury report sponsored by UR Medicine Sports Medicine. And like you talked about, it's been kind of uncharacteristic this season how many injuries the Bills have had. But you take a look at this list. Obviously, Josh Allen officially listed as questionable, although multiple reports saying that he will start today. Two guys that will not be out there, Jordan Poyer as well as Greg Rousseau. Now, Kaiir Elam is doubtful, but the Bills did activate Xavier Rhodes from the practice squad, another corner, so something to look out for there. And then another guy on that list, guys, Tremaine Edmunds. He did not practice this week. He was a limited participant on Friday. Do you expect to see Tremaine out there, and what could he add? Because we know he is such a big piece of this Bills defense.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. You know, this is the time, and we're always out early for the games. If we see him out here early working with the trainers, then you know it's a pretty good chance he's not going to play. That's the way it normally works. But I think Tremaine is trending in the direction to get back on the field. And look, we can talk about big plays all we want. Yeah. This team needs to stop the run better. Yep. They need to be more impactful on the inside. Getting Matt Milano back would help. Having both of them out there without the starting safeties, I think, would be a big deal.
The not practicing, I think, is more of a management of load management basketball style to make sure that he's ready for Sunday, because he did ratchet it up a little bit at the end of the week. I'd expect to see Tremaine out there.
All right, we will get an idea pretty soon whether he's going to play. Again, you can follow us on social media starting at 11:30, and that's when we'll be able to tell you who is active and inactive. It's not bad today. It's a little cool, a little bit breezy. But, you know, we had to go to the expert. He's a Minnesota Vikings fan. Meteorologist Scott Hetzko with the call on the game and the call on the weather for today.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Here's a look ahead to the game day weather in just a couple hours. You know it's cold out there. We'll have some sun, some snow showers. It will be in the 30s all afternoon. It will not be snowing at all times. There'll be some sun as well. Winds out of the northwest at 10 to 25. And with absolute zero bias on the outcome of this game, I think the Bills are going to lose 23 to 16 in your own house. That's got to hurt.
What does the weather guy know about sports anyhow?
Nothing.
Nothing, Jenna. He doesn't know anything. Well, he's probably right about the weather. We'll give him that. He's right about the weather. Yeah. Predicting games, we're not so sure. Let's get the predictions started. Ours are coming in a bit. Go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah, we want to take a second. Greg Connors, our great sponsor, he talked to us about this Bills game, his prediction, and what he wants to see from Buffalo moving forward in this game against the Vikings.
Something to get the running game going, utilize what talent you have. And then on defense, you know, they're still plagued with injuries. But these guys have got to step in, and they've got to get off the field on third down. I mean, that is the key to defense, getting off the field on third down, which means you can't make stupid mistakes. And then the kicking game. You know, we've got to get consistency with the field goal kicker. And again, I think my prediction to the game, Bills 5 field goals. I think they win 15-13.
All right, that's a lot of field goal. Maybe Josh Allen, has something to say about that.
Well, at the time, that was the other day we talked to Greg, and we didn't know at that time whether Josh Allen was going to play. But he does make an interesting point about the field goal unit, because it's been a bit inconsistent. They had a big miss last week.
We'll see how it goes. Tyler Bass, very good last year, needs to be better.
Needs to be better in this one. All right, that was Greg's pick and Scott Hetzko's pick. When we come back, we'll make our predictions for the game, what we expect to see on Buffalo Plus Live. I just saw Harrison Phillips come walking off the field. Yeah. Very popular Bills player.
I asked Matthew Caller about him. Obviously, I talked that Harrison, had a role kind of here in Buffalo. He said last week the last few weeks, Harrison has been the main guy in the Vikings defense, in the middle, and they've rotated pieces around him. But Harrison has found a nice role as a consistent starter and a run stopper in a nice role.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that did a lot off the field. Here in Buffalo, they moved on from him, and he's found a home and got paid a nice paycheck. So he kind of fits with the Vikings franchise, too. I think he's good for him.
Matt Barkley's throwing footballs, not Josh Allen. I was jumped.
Yes, Barkley's out there throwing, but it's just, he always comes out.
Yeah.
He's on the practice squad. He's not eligible to play today. So we know that's the case. It's going to be 17. He should be arriving at the stadium soon. So, and then we'll see. So, yeah. Okay. What do we got there? And Melody is our great producer. She's back there leading us along the way. What do you got, Melody?
Back in 30. All right.
Back in 30.
Any comments?
Jenna, got any comments?
Any comments? No, I just love watching you squirm when there's a little bit of dead air.
Well, listen. I don't like to talk
I
that
could have
much.
jumped in and I was like, let me just watch this.
Wow. You see what we put up with?
You should see the car rides up. They're unbelievable.
I was dead silent the whole trip.
Oh.
The difference is Dan drives.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Buffalo Plus Live. Mike Catalana, Dan Fetes, and Jenna Cottrell. Hey, Josh Allen's going to be taking this field in a little bit. He's going to start today in the game. That is the plan. All week long, we were waiting to hear. We didn't know when we would know, but once they decided Matt Barkley was not going to be activated from the practice squad, we know it's going to be Josh. And if you're playing Josh Allen, if he's in uniform, he's going to start in the game. All right, time to make our predictions. We're going to go back to the studio for Jenna to get it started. Jenna, what do you got for us?
All right, I'm going to keep this pretty simple. The Bills will have Josh Allen out on the field. I think the Bills are the more talented team. They refocused after a loss against the Jets. Allen will be ready to go. I have the Bills winning this game and taking down a 7-1 Vikings team, 20-17, a close game, but the Bills coming out with a win. Guys?
All right, Dan.
The Bills did not match the intensity of the Jets last week. Josh Allen or not, I always like the Bills in this game to bounce back, play with their hair on fire. They're still a better team. 24-20, Bills get the win.
Yeah, I think it's the same kind of game all week long. I made this pick before I knew Josh Allen was going to play because I thought the Bills would play a more efficient game, a smarter game. I think each part of this unit, offense, defense, and special teams, let the team down a week ago. I thought they would play better. My score is 22-17 for the Bills to win. So as we look at all of the picks, we were all wrong last week. Thought they'd take care of the Jets. I think they will fight back this week and get the win. I've got the Bills winning. Dan has them winning, and Jenna has them winning. And remember, for all your Bills coverage, check out the Buffalo Plus channel on YouTube. 24/7, you've got content there that you can check out the game. And speaking of the game, Dan, it's coming up on Fox today at 1 o'clock in both Rochester and Buffalo.
And then we'll have, again, full coverage afterwards, Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike and I will have we'll recap a blog, and then we have a podcast that'll also be out wherever you listen to your podcast.
All right, so we've got you covered. Jenna's got you covered. We will have plenty on the Bills today. 11:30, the inactives come out. We'll know a lot about who's playing. For Dan and Jenna, I'm Mike Catalana. Thanks for watching, and we'll check you next time on the Buffalo Plus channel.